I love it. I love it. I love what you can do with makeup. And see how that's created that shadow and it's really defined my jawline. Like seriously, you can already see, can't you? I mean, that's kind of like, you know, not looking great. This is looking a lot sharper. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you are new, then welcome. This channel is all about beauty, and today I'm going to show you how to slim down your face. Now, this is something that I do a lot for myself because I have a round face naturally and I always like to just slim it down. And I really want to show you how, because it's really easy, and there are 2 steps to this. It's super easy, but you can take away whatever step that you want. You don't have to do them both, and that's what's great about this tutorial. So before we head into the tutorial, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button so that you never miss a video. You can also catch me on Instagram, where you can watch my stories for daily beauty news and watch some amazing PR unboxing. So let's head straight into the video. So I already have my concealer on in all the areas that I feel that I need it. And the first step of slimming your face is using a darker concealer. Now, before we go into that, I really want you to understand what this dark shade does, because there's no point me doing it if you don't get it. But I'm gonna make it super easy to understand, and I'm not gonna overcomplicate it. So basically, a darker shade, and I mean very dark, like we're gonna go for the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in dark 2, and it's pretty dark. Like, I've put it on to the back of my hand here. It's quite dark, and I'm going to use that concealer to kind of shape my face and slim it down. Now, the reason I'm using such a dark shade is because I love the way that this shade comes through the foundation. So the foundation is going to go on top of this dark shade, and the reason I do that is because I feel like it kind of ties everything together, and it's like this veil. So the foundation acts as a veil of color on top, so I'm not really focusing on the coverage with the foundation. It's really just the color and making sure it ties everything together. So it's kind of like just, it wraps everything up really nicely. So we've gone in with these extra little bits, concealer here, dark areas here and there, and then the foundation wraps it all up and makes it look seamless. Now, the dark shade that we're going to use, you've got to use it in specific areas of the face in order to make the face look slimmer. Now, as you guys know, and this is where I'm going to make it really easy to understand, when you're wearing white, as women, we generally know that if you wear white, it makes the surface area appear bigger because the light bounces off and makes the area look bigger. Now, if you're wearing black clothes, it generally makes you look slimmer. It's the same thing with, say for example, your concealer, the light concealer that you use to cover up all those areas. And I know a lot of people use slightly lighter shades because you like that to look a bit brighter, as do I. And then it's the same thing for the dark concealer. So that dark concealer is kind of like making it look smaller. So it's kind of like almost it's creating shadow there, which gives the face depth and gives the illusion of a slimmer face. Hopefully that makes sense. I really do hope I've made it easy to understand, and we're going to move on with applying it now. So I'm going to use the Real Techniques 301 brush. So I've basically buffed it into the brush, the product that I have on the back of my hand, and I've really buffed the product into the back of the hand. So I'm putting the product onto the brush and then buffing into the back of my hand. The reason I like to do that is because then you're not going in straight into your face with loads of product. You've got just the right amount of product. It's spread evenly over the brush, and you get really nice distribution with it, and it just blends in really nicely. So you'll see what I mean. So what we're going to do is we're going to shade in the sides of the face, because what that's going to do, it's going to kind of push it in and make it look slimmer. It gives the illusion of a slimmer face. My face is naturally pretty round, and that's why I never really go up this section here with any darkness, because that's going to kind of like, you know, shorten my forehead, and I never kind of put any darkness under here because it's just going to make me look rounder. So I always concentrate on these areas around here. So we're going to start with the cheekbone area. Now I'm kind of going around here, which is just like about ½ an inch below the top of my ear. So just around here, and we're going to slowly buff this in. And when I'm saying that I'm buffing it in, I mean that I'm kind of pressing, almost like pressing and flicking out, if you see what I mean. So I've applied this in this area here. The bulk amount of color should be around this area. I don't want it coming too kind of forward into the middle of the face. And this is going to help shape my cheekbones, but at the same time, because of the placement where it's starting around here, it's also giving that shadow on the sides of the face. So that's going to help in turn to slim down my face. Okay. So you can already see, if I'm looking straight ahead, you can already see that you can see that sculpting there. There's nothing going on here. You can see the sculpting there. So that's going to give me some cheekbones at the same time. But now I really want to focus on slimming the face down, because I don't want to just apply it here and then I don't have any cheekbones. So that's why I wanted to show you that bit. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this into my hairline here. It's really important that it goes into your hairline. Now, the reason for that is because if it doesn't go into your hairline, you're going to be left with this kind of gap. So you'll be able to see your skin color and then you see the dark shade, and that just looks weird. So it's got to kind of go into the hairline to give the illusion of that hairline kind of starting a little bit forward, if you see what I mean, a little bit into the face. So that's why we're going into the hair. Now, we want to make sure we keep the placement be very strategic with that. At the same time, right, you don't want to go too far in. You've got to keep it pretty thin here, because otherwise you're basically going way too close to the eye area. So it's got to be pretty thin around that area. But you can see how that's kind of like coming in like this. Now the next bit that I'm going to do, now honestly I applied the smallest amount of concealer on the back of my hand. Looks like a lot because it's been spread out because I've been buffing it. Now I'm not even going to apply anything else because this is more than enough what I've got on the back of my hand. Now, next thing I'm going to do is kind of go down this bit here, very, very close. Let me just see if I can give you a side angle. Can you see what I mean? Very close. And then what we're going to do here, I'm going to go beneath the jawline here, and we're going to buff down into the neck. I mean, I love this part. Who doesn't like a snatched jawline? I love it. I love it. I love what you can do with makeup. And see how that's created that shadow, and it's really defined my jawline. Like seriously, you can already see, can't you? I mean, that's kind of like, you know, not looking great. This is looking a lot sharper. So in turn, as you can see, in turn that helps to slim the face, but obviously there is one more step that I want to show you, which by the way, once you finish watching this tutorial, you can take away whichever step you want. You don't have to do them together. I like doing them together, but if you want, you could just stick to one of the steps and you'll see what I mean once you watch the second step. So at the moment, you can see we've kept to that kind of that placement. We're not really focusing here, we're not focusing here. We're sticking to this area here, we're going to stick to this area here, and it's going to help to slim down the face. So you've got that nice kind of like sculpting there. Now we're going to go on to the other side, get the placement the same. So it's about 1/2 inch below the top of the ear. I mean, I've got pretty small ears, so you want to kind of like make sure it's not too high basically. So you're going like just in the hollow part of the cheekbone. If it isn't as visible on you, it isn't necessarily visible on me. If it isn't as visible on you, then you just want to kind of go, rule of thumb is to go about 1/2 inch from the top of your ear. So we're going to make sure most of that product is here, and we're going to start buffing it in. And we're bringing it in, but remember, I'm not too far in. I just want to see a hint of that shadow when I'm looking straight ahead. So I think that is about as far in as I want it to go, because I feel like I'm seeing the same amount there as I'm seeing on the other side. But we're going to add a bit more here, like darkness. Okay, now we're going to go into the hairline. Okay, already my face looks slimmer and I haven't even applied the second step yet. Okay, so I'm going to apply my foundation. I'm using the Huda Beauty Faux Filters foundation in Baklava, and I'm going to be honest, I've only recently started using this shade. I was using a couple of other shades that I used to mix together. Let me just check what they were. I was using Macchiato, and I felt like that was a little bit too kind of orangey on me, so I kind of switched to Baklava and I really like it. So I'm using that foundation, and I've kind of like buffed it into the back of my hand, or spread it out into the back of my hand, onto the back of my hand, sorry. And now I'm going to just apply it with my beauty blender. So I'm just going to go very lightly over my face. I honestly don't apply too much foundation. So I've buffed that in everywhere, and as you can still see some of the kind of sculpting coming through. And I personally feel like my face already does look slimmer. So I'm gonna go ahead and set everything, and then we can move on to step 2. Okay, I'm gonna use my Huda Beauty Easy Bake in banana bread, and I'm just getting my powder puff and just setting my under eye first. So whatever's left on this sponge, I'm just going to take it over the whole face. I'm going to use my Real Techniques brush, and I'm just dusting away this powder. And then I'm just using my Makeup Forever stipple brush to dust away the powder from the rest of my face. That is more or less done for when it comes to step 1. Now we're going to move on to step 2, which is using my bronzer to also further slim down my face. This is a lot more slimmer than what it was. Like initially it was very kind of like, and we need just a little bit more. So I'm going to use the next brush, and I'm using my Fenty Beauty 125 face brush. I kind of like this brush when it comes to slimming down the face, because it's just perfectly shaped and it just really buffs in nicely. I love buffing. Everything is about buffing for me. So, okay, so we're gonna move in with our bronzer. I'm gonna use my Fenty Beauty Sunstalker bronzer in Shady Biz. And I'm gonna start step 2 by sculpting my cheekbones here. So what I'm doing is going back into the same position, so about ½ an inch below the top of the ear, start from that section and then work my way in. Not too far in again, so keep that same kind of shape going on where you don't want to bring it too far in, you want to stick like it fades out around this area here. Now the way to fade it out is to lift your pressure, because I know when you're pressing hard here, you want to lift your pressure lightly so that as you're coming in, it's looking faded. There's not as much product going onto the skin. That's how you get that nice faded finish. So we start heavy here, to work our way in, pressure becomes lighter, 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 and that's how you get that really nice faded finish. Now you can go over as many times as you like to kind of get that darkness. It also depends on the color of your bronzer. So this is a matte bronzer. I would highly recommend a matte bronzer for this entire routine, because the more matte it is, the less particles there are for the light to bounce off of it. So remember I explained to you that the light shade, if it's white, the light bounces off, gives the illusion of a larger surface area. When it's black, light doesn't bounce off of black. So when it's a dark shade and it's matte, light isn't going to bounce off of it. So it doesn't kind of like highlight that area. It lets that shadow kind of stay in place and give that kind of definition. So we are going to carry on. Like I said, I recommend a matte bronzer, but it does also depend on the shade you go for. Mine is not too dark, to be fair. It's just a couple of shades dark, 1 or 2 shades darker than my skin tone. And that's why I really like this, because it doesn't look too heavy and dark on the skin. It doesn't look too obvious. So you can already see how that's nicely shaped the face area. Now I'm going to go over and do the other side. Pressure is hard here, slowly becoming lighter and lighter and lighter, and then we get the faded finish. Okay, so I'm now going to take this up into my hairline, but not too much. I don't want it to look too dark. I just want to give it a slight shadow, and I feel like that's enough. Now we can take it down there as well. And back over this section here. Now remember, if you go in with a bronzer which is very dark, it's going to be too much. You want something which isn't too dark for your face. Now while I'm here, I'm going to very quickly just sculpt my nose. So I'm using my Fenty 200 brush and the same bronzer. I'm just going to create a little V here and just a straight line on either side of the bridge of the nose. If I leave home without my nose being contoured, I feel like I've forgotten, I just feel like I've forgotten to get dressed or something. Like, there's been times where I've left and I'm like, what is so different about my face? And then I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to contour my nose. Everyone has something that they can't do without when it comes to makeup. I'm not gonna lie, I have quite a few of those things. It's not just one thing. Okay, I'm happy with that nose contour. Next, I'm gonna use another powder, which I'm obsessed with at the moment. It's the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Setting Powder in 4.2, which is tan neutral. Now, I like this because it's not overly warming. So because it's a neutral shade, it's not too kind of orangey. It just doesn't look bad. It looks really good on my skin tone anyway. So I'm basically loading up that brush, just taking off the excess, tapping it onto this bit here, loading it up, and then I'm gonna basically just go over the sides of the face a bit. And this, I feel like this warms up my face a bit more, but it also helps with the slimming because it's almost like it just blends seamlessly. Like that bronzer that you've got on, everything just looks a bit more connected, and I love that warm finish it gives. So in order for you guys to see how much of a difference this technique can make to trying to slim down your face, I need to finish off my face because it's really difficult to see when you've only got a half finished face. So I need to go off and do my eye makeup and my lips, and then I'll come back. I'm not going to show you guys that part because this video is all about how to slim your face, and I have plenty of other videos on my YouTube channel which you can check out for eyes and lips or a full look. So I'll be back in just a sec. And I'm back with my eye makeup on, my lips done. So you can really see how makeup can help to slim down the face. So I really do hope this tutorial has helped you. And if you do have any questions, then please do let me know in the comments box below. And all the products are in the description box below as well, just to make it super easy for you. So all you need to do is click on the links. Now, as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button so that you never miss a video. Until the next video, take care, and I'll see you soon.